Kesara, and today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up. So the month of November was really busy for me. I didn't end up posting the reading vlog where I was going to explain this, so I guess I'll just explain this here. But I kind of ended up working 2 jobs because I was transitioning into a different job, but then still working the old job at the same time. So for like about 3 weeks or so, I ended up overlapping and working both of them, which was not fun. So I just didn't have that much free time in the month of November. So I kind of fell into what I had planned to be my December TBR plus one other book. And this is going to be a really short video because I only ended up reading 3 books in the month of November. I do think December will be a lot better, but I am really happy with the books that I did read in November. I really don't feel like doing stats for this though, because I feel like it's kind of obvious. So I ended up starting my reread of the Life Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. So I ended up reading 2 books by Robin Hobb, and I finally continued on with the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, and I ended up reading Oathbringer. So even though I only read 3 books in November, it was still like almost 3,000 pages. So I feel like it wasn't that productive of a month, but if you look at like size-wise, it was still pretty productive. Before we get to those books though, I want to talk a little bit about my DNFs for the month of November, because I ended up DNFing like quite a few books. I started a lot of books. Let's just put it this way. I started a lot of books and read like the first chapter or so, and then just put them down just because I wasn't feeling it. Like I said, I went really into my comfort zone. Even though I started like, I want to say like 5 or 6 books that I finished, I did have one that I got pretty significantly into before deciding to put it down, and that's A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. So this is a YA fantasy, and I was excited for this because I've seen a lot of people talk about this book and Jessica Cluess as an author in general, and how she kind of subverts like normal fantasy tropes. Specifically in this one, it would be the chosen one trope, which I like a good chosen one trope. So I was kind of excited to see how it was subverted, but I just felt kind of mad about this. So I made it to like about there, which is like about 8 chapters, which I think is pretty significant. I just didn't have it in me to continue on with this. Now, mind you, I own the entire trilogy, so I do plan on picking this up again in the future, but I felt like I just wasn't retaining the information, and I didn't really care about the way that it was subverting the trope. Actually, I probably would have preferred it if they just had the regular trope. I don't know. I'm hoping that it was just me being weird because I was super busy and tired in November, and when I do pick this up again in the future, I'm hoping that I'm gonna like it more. But yeah, I did DNF this one, and I'm putting this on my on pause shelf, so I will be picking it up again. I just don't know when, probably sometime next year. So then, of course, I will talk about my rereads, and like I said, I started the Life Ship Traders trilogy reread because I just needed something that was in my comfort zone, and this was definitely one of them. This is also the part of the Realm of the Elderlings that I've been wanting to reread the most since I finished the series, because if you know anything about the series, there is something that you find out in the Fitz and Fool trilogy that is very relevant to the Life Ship Traders, and I was really excited to reread the series to see if I would look at it differently knowing what I know now, and I honestly don't. I don't look at it that differently, which surprised me, but I still really love it. I absolutely love these characters. These characters are some of my favorite of all time. There is one character in particular that I think has some of the best character growth that I've ever seen. I haven't gotten to that part yet because I literally just started the 3rd book, Ship of Destiny. I just started it, and that's the book where I really see that character shine, so I'm really excited for that. But there's so much that makes these books so amazing. One, the world building in these books is just absolutely fantastic. There are talking ships. There is a very intricate society that is set in the same world as the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. So like you can feel the world just growing in this series, and all of the characters are just so perfect and relatable. They're really relatable while at the same time being incredibly interesting and unique, and they still feel like real people. They all have their flaws, but at the same time, you kind of understand why they have those flaws, and you kind of understand where they're coming from and what their motivations are, and I absolutely love that about the series. And even though you can be on every single character's side at any one point in time, they're all at complete odds with each other in irreconcilable differences. Like that is one of the things that just makes this series so good, is because the characters are so justified in how they feel, but at the same time, they're still so against sometimes the people that they love the most. And I just think it's so wow the way this is done, the way the family drama and the societal and the political aspects of these books are done. But at the same time, there's tons of great action. There's a ton of pirating and stuff like that in here that I absolutely love. And of course, there are the live ships themselves, which I think is probably probably the best aspect of this book because you get to read, I think, 4 or 5 of live ships. They all have like their different personalities and they act in different ways that I absolutely love. Of course, Paragon, he's my boy, so I absolutely love Paragon, but Vivacia is amazing also. I love Ophelia. Ophelia is probably one of my favorite of the live ships apart from Paragon and Vivacia. So yeah, there's such great aspects to the series that I absolutely love. This is one of the series that I would recommend to pretty much anyone. I will say though, it is quite slow, and if you read a lot of like high fantasy that has a lot of action in it, you might not like these as much because there's not as much action in it. I mean, I would say this is probably the series that has the most action out of all of her series, but it definitely is more of a character-driven series rather than a plot-driven one, if you know what I mean. But it completely works for me, and Robin Hobb just has some beautiful writing that keeps me wanting to read every single second, and I absolutely love it. I will also say the audiobooks for these are fantastic. The audiobook narrator is Anne Flosnick, and she does such a good job of narrating these books. I want to listen to it all the time. I absolutely love both of these. I gave both Ship of Magic and Mad Ship 5 stars each. They are some of my favorite books of all time, and I would highly recommend them. And now for the new books that I read for the first time. In the month of November, we have one book, like I've already mentioned, and that's Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. I'm so excited that I finally read Oathbringer. It took me literally all month. I started this on November 1st, and I didn't even finish this in November, technically. I finished this on December 2nd, but since I read like 90% of it in November, I'm including it in my November wrap-up. This was fantastic. I don't know why people complain about this book. I feel like they're just like griping for gripe reasons. I do think Words of Radiance is slightly better political-wise, but otherwise, I really enjoyed this. I felt like we got to know the characters a lot more. There were some really good twists that I really enjoyed, especially the beginning. Like, I forget by the time I get to the end, some of the twists that happened in the beginning, I'm just like, I didn't realize that was gonna happen, but I love it. And we get some good backstory that I've been wanting for the longest while. I absolutely love the backstory that we get in this. There's some great action. I mean, honestly, I almost feel like there was too much action in this. I don't know if you can have too much action because it's written perfectly. I absolutely love the way that it's written, and I just love everything about the series. The series is fantastic, and I cannot wait to continue on with it. I'll definitely be getting to the novella Dawn Shard really soon, and hopefully I can get to Rhythm 4 by the end of the year, hopefully. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I love the characters even more now than I did when I started Oathbringer. I feel like Oathbringer has one of the best battles that I've seen in this series so far. I definitely enjoyed it, and there was definitely some really good like payoffs that were set up like from the first book that I enjoyed those aspects of it as well. I don't want to give too much away. 3rd book in a series, you know how that is, but I enjoyed this so much. I gave it 5 stars, and I can't wait to continue on. So that was a really short wrap up, but that's all I have for you guys. If you've read any of these, let me know down in the comments because I'd love to discuss with you guys. I post videos on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so consider subscribing. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload, you can click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.